What is the most important thing a teacher can do for you?
Provide clear lines of contact, so email, ways to get a hold of them, and what they expect of the parents and what they expect of the kids as far as homework and projects and volunteering.
When do you feel frustrated by a teacher?
Mostly when a child has forgotten homework and it's not online or it's incorrect, or if they've had their clip moved down or there's been discipline without explanation in form of an email or a note.
Is there anything you need a teacher to say or do at the beginning of the year?
I love getting the bios of the teacher the first week of school and being able to fill out the information about my child so you can understand them better. That's helpful right away.
What is the most powerful thing a teacher can do for your child?
Inspire greatness and get them excited about a subject that maybe they weren't so excited about or were struggling about. To turn that around with helping the parents understand how to do that and helping in the classroom with extra attention.
What is the most important thing a teacher can do for your child?
Leave long-lasting learning techniques, I guess. My daughters still sing songs that they've learned in the past, years later, to help them learn some sort of principle or way of doing something. So if they could leave a long-lasting memory that they can carry on for years in the form of a song or action or something like that, that's what I like.
What is the most important thing a teacher can do for you?
Definitely keep in touch all the time. I want to know what's going on, how my child's doing. I really like the regular newsletters weekly. Some teachers would do them monthly and stuff. I think it's important to communicate with the parents on a regular basis. What's going on in the classroom and what my child's doing at the time. Don't record yet. I really don't know. There was a time when I noticed a teacher trying to teach a student something, or disciplining a student, and she just stopped and stared at him, like, kind of gave one of those little looks, and I was kind of thinking at the time, they need to know specifically exactly what they did wrong and how to change it, not just a look or a silence or not one of those just immediate across the board. It needs to be specific. That's the only time I can think about getting frustrated is probably something like that. But other than that, I don't have any complaints, so it's kind of hard.
Is there anything that you need a teacher to say or do at the beginning of the year?
I like to know exactly how the class is going to be ran, like the discipline procedures, the curriculum, the whole thing. And I know we do that at back to school night. We learn about the school, but I like to know it from the beginning. And I also want to be involved in the classroom, not disruptively. I like to just be an observer so that I am always, in the know on what's going on and how they're being taught and how the class is running. So I'd like that even from the very beginning.
The most important thing that I feel a teacher can do for me as a parent is to let me know that the line of communication, whether, especially for me because I work full time, is via email. I enjoy the fact that I could communicate with my daughter's teachers freely and openly via email. So I'm appreciative of the fact that they allow me to communicate with them as often as I can.
When do you feel frustrated by a teacher?
I have actually not been frustrated by any of my daughter's teachers since they've started coming to literacy first. My experiences with each and every one of them has been so positive, and we've been impressed with each and every one of them. I have never felt frustrated with any of them.
Is there anything that you need a teacher to say or do at the beginning of the year?
I think the most important thing that I would like to have at the beginning of the year is what expectations they have of my student. Whether it be, I think the biggest thing is the homework requirement and the assignments, that it's pretty specific, and where I can find the assignments if I don't feel my student is bringing them home. The requirements of the class, just open communication.
What is the most powerful thing a teacher can do for your child?
I think the most powerful thing teacher can do for my child would be basically not be afraid to openly praise my child when something good, something positive happens in their classroom. And I don't necessarily want the opposite of criticizing my student in front of their fellow students, but also taking them off to the side if there is a concern, and being openly honest with them to let them know how they could better themselves, not only in academics but in character building as well. I think my children rely heavily on pleasing their teachers, and hearing both praises as well as criticism is a very powerful thing for them.
Just to look over here.
What is the most important thing a teacher can do for you?
Communicate, communicate, communicate. What I want to know is how my child's doing, if they are they a follower, are they a leader in the classroom, whatever their behavior is, how they're doing academically. The most important thing is just the communication on how my child's doing. Be sincere.
When do you feel frustrated by a teacher?
I feel very blessed that I have had now a kindergartner through second grader, and I have had a second child go through kindergarten, and I have not had an ounce of frustration with any of their teachers.
Is there anything you need a teacher to say or do at the beginning of the year?
I think what would benefit my children the most is that if the teacher could very clearly explain what they expect in order for my child to succeed. So if I'm measuring success by grades, then I want my children to understand that if they do a certain thing, then they're going to get a better grade. And if they do something else, they're going to get a little better grade. Or if they do something less, then they're going to get a worse grade. And I think that that would motivate my kids to push a little harder if it was very clearly delineated for them how can I achieve more.
What is the most powerful thing a teacher can do for your child?
I think the most powerful thing a teacher could do for my kids is to help them realize their potential, and to realize that they can do more than maybe they think they can do. And I think what's a component of that is to explain to them or help them understand that that there are certain milestones that they could reach, or goals that they could reach, that will push them to another level, whether it's a reading level or a certain grade or more push-ups or whatever it is, that they can, if a teacher could explain to them that, wow, if you put in just this little more effort, this little bit, you could really exceed even greater than what you think you can do. So if a teacher could instill in my kids that just push yourself a little bit and you will achieve more than you ever thought you could, I think that would be it's priceless.
Okay, so tell me, what's the most important thing that a teacher can do for you? I think the most important thing the teacher can do is if they take the time to truly study the questionnaire that we fill out as parents about our children, like get to know the child before class even starts or before the year gets going, so that they can know how to deal with situations, how to motivate them, how to excite them, because that's why we fill out the questionnaire.
I mean, do you think that's realistic given that they have 20 or 25 or 30 students?
If it's not realistic, why do they send it home for us to fill out? Why do I take the time as a parent to pore over it and really give them information that I want them to know about my child so that they can help them?
So tell me, when do you feel frustrated by a teacher?
I think the thing that can frustrate me the most is being dismissed as a parent or not being heard. I am well aware that a lot of parents are delusional about their own child's brilliance, their athletic ability, anything. But I think there's one thing that we all know as parents, it's how to motivate our children and also how to demotivate them. And if a parent takes the time to explain to a teacher what's the best way to get my child plugged in or what's the best way to motivate my child, I really think that they should take the time and take that to heart and take heed to what we're saying.
Wonderful. Is there anything that a teacher can say or do at the beginning of the school year that would make your child's time easier or harder in their classroom?
I really hope that all the teachers that work here love what they do, and I hope that they would be able to express how much they love what they do, how much they love studying, how much they love learning, how much they love the subjects that they teach to motivate the kids, to get them excited. I mean, I can remember teachers from when I was a kid, specifically Mr. Hammond. He was so passionate about what he did, about what he taught, that I still remember stories he told me when I was in 6th grade.
So, kind of in summary, what would be the most beneficial thing that a teacher could do for your child?
I think if a teacher could get my child excited about learning, to love learning. For example, and I hope this doesn't embarrass her, Mrs. Paul had my older son so excited about science. It was ridiculous. Like, he actually spoke to me in the car on the way home and told me things that he had learned that day. And that's the kind of teacher I want teaching both my kids every year in every grade level, that they come home wanting to share what they just learned.
If there was something that you could say to a teacher, just a sentence, and just say to them, as a parent, this is what I want you to know about me, a parent.
I am fully invested in my child. I love my child. I want them to succeed. I want them to love coming to school. I don't want this to be drudgery for them. I want them to wake up with their eyes bright, excited about coming to school.